Okay, and welcome to the training webinar for March 2, 2015 for ICC Keyworkz and ICC Express. I'm your host, Hugh, and we'll be talking about some things common to both programs today. But we'll start with Keyworkz. Last time we went over some things in ICC Express, and I wanted to touch on a few things for you in Keyworkz. So those of you that have ICC Express and don't have Keyworkz, this will be interesting to you as well, because Keyworkz is kind of a sister program to ICC Express. And I can, at the end of the show, I can actually give you a link to get Keyworkz at a really super low price. But that's not why I'm here. But that's just for you, a convenience in case you don't have it, you want to get it. So first thing we look at here is in the settings. Now, if you were here last time, we did go over this with ICC Express. It doesn't matter if you were here last time or not, but what the problem is that a lot of these hosting companies, and specifically the one called Host9 that has started to block the XML RPC file. So sometimes you'll try to go and do a post with ICC Express, or you'll try to do some work with ICC Keyworkz, and you're going to get back some kind of a weird numeric error. It might be error number 1185 or error number 2032 or something. Generally what that means is that the blog in question has that file blocked. And what the host does, probably I should explain this just a little bit more, because there's this one file that comes with WordPress, okay? WordPress puts a lot of files onto your website. One of the files that WordPress puts into your website is this one called xmlrpc.php. It's kind of like the very last file in the root directory of your blog. If you look in there, you'll see it. And that is the special file that allows remote servers to do procedure calls. That's RPC, stands for Remote Procedure Call. And they use XML to basically communicate the calls that are to be made between servers. And this is used everywhere. And, you know, it's just a very big kind of a standardized way of exchanging data between servers. But WordPress has specifically used it to allow you to do remote posting, which is what ICC Express does and what ICC Keyworkz does. So somewhere along the line, Host9 has decided that they want to block that from happening. And because, you know, pardon me, but these big server companies are just so rife with viruses and stuff. If I may say so, some of them just seem like kind of a cesspool of code bugs that just cross-infect each other. And so, you know, instead of finding, you know, better way to stop that from happening on their server, what they're going to do is basically block you from having that particular usage of that file, xmlrpc.php, because they're thinking maybe that's how some of these exploits are getting into their servers, is through this file, which may or may not be true. The thing is, you can't do anything with the blog unless you have the login and password through the XML-RPC or through any other area, unless the person that programmed the plugin is really terrible program, in which case they could leave a security hole open through XML-RPC. So that kind of makes sense. Now the thing is, we do have a workaround for this, and it's built into ICC Express and it's built into ICC Keyworkz. As you'll notice, I have alternate XML-RPC file name, and it's a per profile file name. So basically, whatever server that your blog is on, you're going to have to check and see if there's a problem with that file. If you're posting okay, then there's no problem, of course. But if you're getting numeric errors from the software when you try to do stuff, chances are they're blocking that file. And the way to test it is like this. here's a test blog. So if I go to xmlrpc.php at the end of my blog address and I hit enter, then I'm going to see this little thing here that says XML RPC server accepts posts requests only. That means that we are good, that we are not being blocked for that file. However, if you go and see that, and make sure you spell it correctly, and if you do that and it says 404 file not found or something, some HTML page comes up, then you know that they're blocking that file. And you can go with your FTP program or your file manager from cPanel and you can look in your blog's root directory and you'll probably still see that file still sitting there, xmlrpc.php, even though when you try to run it, it's going to say 404 file not found. Okay, that's how you know it's being blocked, right? Okay, so what you're going to do is, since you're logged in with that FTP program or the file manager, and certainly you can't do it in a browser, but I'm just going to show you, imagine this was the FTP, and you're going to click into that file name or rename that file, and you can name it 12345. You can name it anything, any gobbledygook that you want to, and then you're going to copy that file name and you're going to make sure it saves to that file name and renames that file on your server, and you're going to come back and make sure you have that blog selected over here and you just paste in the new file name and then save it. And after that, the best practice is going to be to quit Keyworkz or ICC Express and restart it again to make sure you get all the new file names loaded. And then everything will start to connect. And, you know, we've seen this does work. So it's just a workaround. They're just blocking that one name of that file since it's so common. Okay, so let me get a 1 if you guys are all with me on that, and then we'll move on to the next thing. And a 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Marvelous, marvelous. Okay, great, great. It's like we're all on the same page. And, okay, great. Now, next thing I want to touch on is over on this right-hand side, we have this panel here called the Amazon Associate Credentials. And this is pretty much required to get your Amazon products if that's what you want to use. And we also have that in ICC Express, but it's in a different spot. While I'm on it, I'll just point out that the XML RPC on ICC Express is actually a different spot too. It's over here, right here. But now in order to get to the Amazon thing on ICC Express, you're going to click on the blog curation, number 3, and then you see this $sign. And then you're going to click on that. Then you're going to see a tab for accounts. This is the same that you've got over here in the Amazon accounts on Keyworkz. It's a little bit more convenient on Keyworkz, but you're using it more on ICC Express, I would guess. Maybe not. Anyway, you've got all the account details stored, which is your account nickname, your access ID, your secret key, and your associate ID. And your associate ID is what's used to generate your affiliate links. The access ID and secret key give you the opportunity to do the searching like this. And then you get those products that you can put into your posts and stuff. And then the same on Keyworkz, but that comes up when you're in the projects and you're doing your content editing on your items right here, and then you've got that same $ over here. You can open up, and you basically got the same interface on both of them. Dan, I'd love to put a highlighter on, but I don't think I know how to do it. I'm sorry. I really don't have any clue how I would do that. Dan, if you're going to tell me how to do that, I'd be happy to try it. Okay, so now you know how to put in your Amazon. I don't believe the Amazon search can be done without your secret key and so on and so forth. Arlie. The ID and the secret are the same ones that you use for S3. That's where you get them. That's right. Now, the other part next on the settings for Keyworkz, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people have asked me, what's the deal with SEMrush? Because when you try to go to get this SEMrush API, it's ridiculously expensive. The thing is, they've got a bit of a glitch with their website. And if you click to go for the info, only in certain conditions do you actually see that $15 subscription. And I think it's like you have to be logged in order to see it. See here, I've got it subscribed for $15. That's what I'm not logged in. So if you get logged in somehow and then you try to see that, it shows you something else. So what a lot of people are seeing is the pricing here that says, way too expensive. So we're not suggesting that you get this with SEMrush, but if you want to have that additional data and you have $15 a month to spend on it, then it may be worth it to you to pick up this API, because then you have certain functions in Keyworkz that you don't have without that. Okay. Question from Arlie, can Amazon product search be done without Amazon account? I don't think so. You can try it. I don't think you're going to hurt anybody if you try it, but the programming is done with your secret key and your access ID, which is part of your S3 account, security credentials. And by using that in the API, we're able to search the products on Amazon. And I guess that's just the way it works, Arlie. We do have some other stuff with Amazon that I'm going to show you today that you don't need an account with. But for that particular function, yeah, you need your access ID and secret key. So back to SEMrush. So as I was showing you that there's this $15 subscription, and basically that allows you to search SEMrush the same way that you might search the Google Keyword Planner, because it's basically the same data in SEMrush that's in the Keyword Planner. If you don't want to use that function, you don't have to. You can actually go to the Keyword Planner and do your search there and import it into Keyworkz. I'm recording this webinar right now, Ferdy, so hopefully it'll come out okay for you. What is the difference, Dana, between which SEMrush and the Google Keyword Planner? The difference between the data you get from the Google Keyword Planner and the data you get from SEMrush is as follows. The SEMrush data is much more locally refined, but it is exactly the same data. So if you were to search directly on, so you can't do what we call the global search volume in SEMrush. They don't give you that. You can get that in the keyword planner, but you can get country-wise data. As you'll notice here in this drop-down, you can query the specific country if it's one of these Google countries that is offered. Okay? So that's where it works. So you could actually search Brazil for a Portuguese term, and that would make sense. You could search United States for some American stuff, and you could search the UK for a particular term that you want to see, in the UK or whatever. You can just use that function for that. Pardon me. So yeah, any more questions, just feel free to go ahead and drop them in the chat box, because I want to answer things that help you understand how this works and stuff. So that's basically it. The difference is exactly the same data, but I kind of went back and forth with SEMrush people, and I know exactly what it is. Yes, it's exactly the same data because they get it from the Google Keyword Planner. They have an agreement with Google to get that data, but they don't give it to you in global search volume. It's always related to the country. Okay, let's move on. Let me just show you quickly how SEMrush works, by the way. Now, when you go to the Google Keyword Planner and you search for keyword suggestions, you're going to get back certain figures along with that. You're going to get the search volume, the competition, and the cost per click, and so on and so forth. I'm pretty sure I have this pointed at the American Google Data Center now, but if I want to just search and get suggestions, but I can get that search volume data loaded into the suggestions, which, folks, the suggestions don't come with search volume. They don't come with competition figures. It doesn't come with CPC. If you go to Google and search, German Shepherd, whatever, and you start seeing these suggestions, German Shepherd puppies, whatever, they don't give you any additional data with that. They only give you the other words that they suggest. So we're not getting like how many people search for that per month or anything like that. So that's why we have SEMrush, because as we get the suggestions and list them out in the Keyword Explorer, we can actually load those terms with a search volume and all that. So if I just do the same thing here, and I ask just Google, you notice we have 5 different sources now, but I'm just going to ask Google for suggestions on German Shepherd, and I'm going to automatically get the SEMrush data. Now you'll notice that while I get suggestions, the search volume, competition, and the CPC automatically load, not for all of them, but for the ones that SEMrush has the data for. Because as we all probably know by now, the Google Keyword Planner is just not that groovy as the original keyword tool. The original keyword tool, you could almost always get the data for almost any long tail phrase. And I don't think that Google really wanted us to have all that data, so they really just sort of cut us out from a lot of that data a couple years ago now. So we do the best we can, and part of that is getting these long tail keywords by suggestion. And as I demonstrated before, the suggestion alone does not get you that search volume, does not get you the competition or the CPC. So by having that monthly subscription to SEMrush, for which I do not receive a penny, it gives you an opportunity to have that search volume if it's important to you. Now, you might not even want to use that, which is cool, because you can use this in a lot of other ways. And a lot of times the search volume and all that stuff doesn't really help you as much as you might think, depending on what you're trying to do. Groovy and cool. Right now I'm looking at ICC Keyworkz, guys. This software right here is called ICC Keyworkz, and it is kind of like the sister program to ICC Express. Okay, so what we've done is we've combined the webinars for both of these two programs now. So if you don't have Keyworkz, I would say bear with me, because you're still going to learn stuff about ICC Express and vice versa. They both basically work on the same principles. So what we can do with Keyworkz is that we can get keywords that will help us to get traffic to our blog. And I've recently implemented a couple of new sources for the keywords. I put YouTube and Amazon in here. And Amazon especially can help you get buying keywords, keywords of products or people that might be looking to purchase a product online, and you can search Amazon products by keyword. And this, you're not really searching the products. What you're doing is you're searching, they have a suggest tool. It's a lot like the Google and the other ones. So when you go ahead and use the Amazon suggest tool, what you're ending up getting is probably the more trending searches on Amazon, just the terms. You're not getting any data or anything with it. For example, if I wanted to go ahead and search on German Shepherd in Amazon, and then we would see what they would come up with, is like German Shepherd stuffed animal, German Shepherd sign, German Shepherd harness, German Shepherd clothing, German Shepherd collar. These are not just ethereal concepts. These are actually the names of items that people will purchase, right? So that's one way that you could kind of go ahead and build out your website with items. So let me go ahead and just select all. See if I can make a new project here. So I've got this new one called German Shepherd items, and there's we're getting that weird error. Hold on. And I'm going to select. That one's already got some stuff on it, but we can reinitialize that blog. Save the settings. I'm going to do that same search again on Amazon. Just German Shepherd. And don't worry about SEMrush. I'm just going to go ahead and explore this. And I got quite a bit of different names of things on Amazon that you might actually be able to find a product for, right? If that's what you want to do. Not all of us are doing that, but some of us want to know how we can make money and stuff. So what I'm going to do is remove the ones that I don't think. Let's see. Okay, so those all look like they could be products even. So I'm going to go ahead and save this to my hierarchy. I have a project, but I don't have anything in there. So I'm going to save that, save to hierarchy, and execute. Now if I go back to that project, you'll see all those items listed down here, and now I can start to kind of build that into a website. So that's how this works, you see. Just so you're going to see how this relates to ICC Express, because once we start building our little hierarchy of keywords like this, these can actually become sections on our website that we then can put content onto. You can make them a page or make them a category aggregated listing of posts or whatever. So that's just how that, for those of you that haven't seen Keyworkz before, this is just sort of the beginning of what it does. As you can build your silos on your website, you can add content, and when you're all ready, you can go ahead and execute that and build your website from the ground up in just a couple of clicks. Not only does that build your website, but it also prepares your keywords, your curation channels on ICC Express. Here goes the Coast Guard again. And so you're all prepared to start curating stuff to that website. That's how it works. It perfectly sets your website up to receive curated content. Here's an example. This one I did, I think on the one of the previous webinars. It's already like fully siloed with content. Just a second. So we're already fully loaded with internal siloing and all kinds of stuff. The Keyworkz does that for you. So once you do run ICC Express and you've got a website that's already really structured really well for you, then it's really quite easy to put content on it right into the keyword slots where you want to put your content into. And you can see all I did was select this profile in ICC Express now, and all the categories are loaded for that blog, so I can just select one of those categories and then try and get some content to go in there. Either the built-in feeds, or I'd have my own feeds that I might have loaded in or whatever. Or I can just go for a video. You can see it's preloaded with my German Shepherd keyword, which is the default keyword for that. And then we can easily generate a post just like this. We've got the post ready. The video embed is there. We also have an image embed that's kind of invisible. That's to be used by Facebook or by your blog as a thumbnail. That's all generated programmatically just by using this blue T. The blue T icon, when you select it, will generate all that stuff. If you just take the white icon or the blank icon, It will just insert the video embed wherever you want it in your article. We also have similar interface here on Keyworkz. When you're creating your initial content, you've got the video selection right here as well. And it's very similar. It works pretty much the same way. The difference with Keyworkz is that you're only going to create the initial content with Keyworkz because you're building, Keyworkz creates the website based on the keywords and the structure that you design here. And we need to go into a little bit more detail, which I think the next time I'll do that. I'll go into a little more detail about how you're going to create your silos. Well, right now I'm just kind of explaining the concept is that you basically design the website from the ground up, you execute it, and then once you do that, you're able to create continuing content with ICC Express. Although ICC Express does not generate the initial structure, that's what Keyworkz does. Okay, does anybody have any questions right now? I'm not trying to get out of anything, but it's been kind of a long day at stuff I had to do today. So I'm definitely here to answer questions. First of all, I haven't asked for a 1 in a long time, so why don't you guys give me a 1 if you're still following me. There's Dan Vardy. Yeah, Dan. Okay, great. We've got 1s. Appreciate it, guys. Now, awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Let me step back now. Dan asked me, does Keyworkz install WordPress? No, it does not. Okay. It's basically you would install your WordPress, pick your theme or pick a theme that has a menu slot, install our plugin that's called Silo Factory, has to be installed on the blog. Once you have that, then Keyworkz will talk to your blog. The Silo Factory plugin comes with Keyworkz. It's part of every Keyworkz purchase is the plugin. In order to install WordPress itself, we would just have some kind of an FTP program, but this is not really like that, Dan. It's actually is, it uses that XML RPC thing that I talked about at the beginning of the lesson today. And that XML RPC interface is part of the infrastructure of WordPress. Okay, got a few questions here. Okay, yeah, hey guys, I really appreciate all your comments. Thank you very much. I'm kind of having a lot of people asking me about, how do we get Keyworkz and stuff, so that's cool. Yes, Keyworkz handles the appropriate links for the silos. It sets up your website. You can design this. You can design your silos to be very, very effective. You can do the authority, what we call the authority site style silos, or you can do the interlinking, like I would say Becker style silos, if you know what I'm talking about. The ones that kind of link from page to page to page and then come back up to the top. You can do that too. And it's all about, once you have your pages set up, then you can make it a page and then have it have a link to another page like this, and then this one could be a page. Once it's a page, then you can link to another page. So you can basically design your whole setup right inside of the visual silo designer here. And once you're happy with it, you can also put all the initial content with the ease of ICC Express for each one. And once you're ready, then you click this create categories and menus and you execute it. And then it will basically just go out to your blog and it will create that. And this is an example of a blog that was fully generated by Keyworkz. And there's not a lot of design work gone into it. It's just to demo. But it's, the nuts and bolts of what I'm talking about here. You can get as heavy as you want with your design and get that theme set up. As long as it's got a menu slot up here, then that's kind of where the Keyworkz, the Silo Factory targets the menus, the posts and page structures and how they link to each other, and it just creates all that with a couple of mouse clicks, or how much time you want to put into designing it visually. Then you just click this execute button and it makes it happen. If you don't like it, what you do, you can just reinitialize the blog here. Be careful, but you can completely wipe the blog and start all over again until you're happy with it. You can leave the search engines turned off until you're ready to let it rip. It's a pretty cool little tool. Now, I didn't really mean to get into selling this, but since people are asking, here's how to get it. ICCKeyworkz.com. From there, you can get the developer edition, which is $97. If you want a better deal or getting it more cheaply, just go here, single special, ICCKeyworkz.com, single-special.html, and it's only $27 for the single version. Where is that? It'll show up in a minute, but yeah, it's only $27 for the single version if that's what you want, because then you'll be able to work both programs together or whatever. Yeah, so and a lot of people here on this call already have both, so I apologize, for the, expedition into showing people where they could get them and stuff, but I did have a lot of people asking as well. Okay, great. Here's a good question. Yeah, Fidelis had that error 2032. Great. I'm going to get through all your questions, so that's fine. And those of you that can't hear, I'm really sorry. There's nothing I can do about it, but we will have the recording later. I'm okay. Cool. Outlander. Okay, let me check out. Fidelis had this question here. He says, I had an error like error 2032. And error 2032 happens when there is an internet connection problem. So it could be a number of things if you see error 2032. Now it could be that you have misspelled your website if you see error 2032. Let me go ahead and see if I can write this up in front of you so you can see it really well. Okay, error 2032. the ever popular error 2032, you can get that from a number of things, but mainly it means no connection. Okay? It could mean your internet is down. I'm not saying that's what it means. It's just one of the things that it could mean. It could mean you misspelled the address, the blog address. That's a good question, Rick McCauley. I'll address that in a second. It could mean your server is down. It could mean that your server or your blog has a security plugin such as bad behavior. Okay, it could mean any number of things resulting in basically the software trying to connect to an address out there in the internet, getting out on the internet, but like the address just not responding, right? That's what error 2032 is. Basically it means no response from target address. And it could be, you know, all these different reasons of why that could be. Okay? Any of those circumstances could result in there being no response from the target address. So that's what 2032 is. So I can bet you would suggest right now that I should change my software to give you a little bit smarter error. You know, when that comes up, error 2032, no response from target address. I should probably put that in there, and then I'll give that some good consideration if I can. I don't know about it having a problem with WordFence. I don't know what BPS is, but generally any security plugin that's going to interfere with XML-RPC.php responding, then that could be a problem, because like host 9, some of these plugins think that XML-RPC.php is a security hole, and it will stop you from you know, getting a connection, and then you'll get error 2032. Yeah, thanks. I got it's bulletproof security, so I kind of got that now. So thanks, guys, for opening my eyes to that one that I wasn't familiar with. If you do have bad behavior, you have to go in and make this particular setting here. It says allow remote posting from offsite forms or something like that. And you have to give that a big check. So yes, allow the remote posting. Or if it says don't allow, make sure it's not checked. Right? So if you have bad behavior, that's the setting. Allow remote posting from offsite forms. It's the same thing as basically letting the XML-RPC.php do its thing. Fidelis, what I'm going to suggest is if you get in touch with me in customer service, and I'll try to help you solve that issue, right? I can give you theoretical ideas, and it might be that XML-RPC problem that you're having there with host 9. But if it's error 2032, it may be something different entirely, because that's, like I said, error 2032 means no response. And if they're blocking XML-RPC, you'll get a response. It just won't be XML. Okay. So get with us. I'll give you the support address. And this is the kind of error that I love to solve if I possibly can. I'm sending you all that email right now. I sent you the link for the cheapy version of Keyworkz if you want that. I'm checking out G. Murdy's yeah, G. Murdy, why don't you get with me in customer service and we'll talk about that, okay? So I kind of don't talk about those subjects on webinars, but definitely get in touch with me in the customer service, and I just gave you that email address, so I'd be more than happy to talk to you about how we can get you all set up. And Dennis is mentioning that iTheme security also has a setting to limit or stop XML RPC. And the users should reflect whether or not they have used that iTheme security and have that particular setting. So that's a good thing to notice. iTheme security. Has a setting. I don't know about bulletproof security. I don't know if that has it or not. It very well may have the same kind of a blocking. You know, you can get around that by doing that whole thing that I told you in the beginning, where you go to your blog and rename that file. Pardon me, xmlrpc.php, and you could probably rename that file to 12345.php and then save it in Keyworkz and ICC Express, and then it's going to work okay, right, if you match the file name. That's just one thing. We have several ways to get around this issue, I guess. So you can either turn it off on your blog, or you can change the file name, or whatever you can do. I want to thank Peter Williams for helping me solve that one. And Demon, I'm not sure who Demon is, but he says if you're running the Jetpack plugin, then you have to have that XML RPC running. David O'Neill. Okay, thanks, David. Demon. All right. Got a new nickname. Dino. Oh, that is your nickname, Demon. Okay, cool. I got it right. Demon. Demon is Demon. Okay, cool. So what else? Let me look and see if we got some other questions. Colin asked me with my blog, it could be successfully used for AdSense. And absolutely, AdSense, Amazon, ClickBank, pretty much anything that you want to use you can make money with. I think the absolute best way is also to try to get people interacting with you on a list, you know, so you can get real people, you know, involved with your marketing, your offers, and everything you have to offer and all that. A couple more questions coming in about Keyworkz. Dennis want to know if Keyworkz Basic is all you need. Keyworkz Basic is basically one machine install, three blog that you can save, and maybe 10. I think it's 10 and 10 projects and 10 blogs. I'd have to go look it up. You can also delete blogs and add new ones if you want to move on. It's not like you can't. It's not like you're stuck with whatever you put in. And I think, you know, if you want to just get your feet wet with Keyworkz, it's probably well worth just picking up the single version. I'm going to keep that special at least for a few weeks. But don't let that slow you down. I could make some false scarcity here if you want, but I'm not going to do that today. Adding eBay for keyword research, Outlander, that's a great idea. We're trying to get all the different ones that we can think of and also different ways of using it. And while I'm on the subject, that reminds me of something else I wanted to tell you about, which is, I don't know if you knew about this crazy indexer. I think I probably mentioned it to you before, but we have, I've implemented in the crazy indexer into ICC Express so that any post that you make will automatically get indexed immediately. You do need to have that crazy indexer. I'm getting ready to put OnlyWire into it too. Okay, here's some good questions. Okay, G. Murdy has some good questions here, and so does Hex 500. I know that's oddly Hex. And SendWire. SendWire doesn't have an API, but you can put your blog's RSS feeds into SendWire, and it's kind of the same thing. I would love to put SendWire, but I don't know that they have an API, so what you can do is grab the RSS feed from your blog and program it into your SendWire account, and it's pretty much the same thing. Okay. Oddly wants to know, will Keyworkz leave footprints on your PBN? And I guess it depends on how much value you put into the posting that you do. Because in terms of what Keyworkz does, there's nothing on earth that's going to leave a footprint on the PBN unless you just take the content as it comes without adding some value to it, right? Because it's templated. So if you just use the templates and nothing else, then that's a footprint. Does that make sense? You know, because the template is a template and it's like a repetition. So we give you the template so that you can add your own added value. You know, I mean, you could take 5 minutes and just, you know, add your opinion and just change things up, put your own title. Not necessarily with Keyworkz, because Keyworkz creates the titles from the keywords. But with ICC Express, you definitely want to mark up your own title and all that. Put in, you know, put in some value along with what you're curating, and then, yeah, mix up the placement of the curated bits, Demon, and you know, puts nice images. We talked a couple weeks ago about how to get images and put them right on your blog. And, you know, it's a lot of cool things that you can do. And there's another secret feature that I haven't told you about yet with your images. But it's a really good thing to get images and stick them onto your blog. And then, yeah, that's right, Dima. I don't know if I went over that before, but we already have that covered in ICC Express, EXIF data. It's already being managed for a couple of years now. I've had it in there. And it's really, it's great. As you know, you've probably seen some other marketers, in fact, you know, educating people about EXIF data. And it hasn't really caught on yet, but we've used it, you know, for quite a while. So there's a lot of different ways that you can add value to your content and not take hours and hours and hours to do it. You know, just make it so that it's not exactly the template, and by doing that, you'll be sure that you're not going to leave any kind of footprint, because there is no other footprint from our system other than the content that you put. You know, our plugins don't have special things that show up on the site, you know, that you can be identified with, because it's all done on the back end. We don't load our plugins on the front of the site. The only one that we do is the page view exploder, which creates beautiful slideshows and ramps up your page views. But you know, that plugin is specifically for the user to see a slideshow, so yeah, it goes on the front end. But all of our other stuff, Silo Factory, Time Sync Manager, all that stuff, there's no way that Google ever knows that it's on the website. There's no footprint whatsoever. And let me see. Okay, G. Murdy has a question. Can I put all your software suites on a Windows server, VPS remote desktop? Can I use proxies so the Keyworkz research does not result in a lot of CAPTCHAs? Well, G. Murdy, the interesting thing is that with our software, you don't need to do any of that crap. Because why? Because our software does not do things that pisses off Google. Therefore, you do not need to hide your ass. Does that make sense? Let me get an amen. Seriously, our software does not do anything that pisses off Google in the slightest way, because we do not advocate, you know, black hat, backlinking strategies, spam, anything like that. In fact, what we advocate is, creating good content or providing pointers to great content with value added, with images, with keyword-rich value. And that's what we talk about. You know, I'm not, yeah, G. Murdy, a nice pun, right? You can use, you can't particularly use, yeah, you could use Keyworkz to create your PBNs. You can use ICC Express to create your PBN content, and you can use Weblify, SAM. Well, I don't know about SAM, but I know you can use Weblify, you can use SEO Catalyst. What I did like about SEO Catalyst is that it wasn't creating stolen, spun spam content, which is what a lot of these other ones do. So if you're using a system that makes stolen, spun, spam content, then probably you can't use our tools with it. And I really hate to rain on that parade, but you know, it's just two different paradigms, guys. That's why I don't say, you know, go out and get a VPN, get proxies, you know, because Google's going to know ICC Express is coming to get it. You know, it doesn't work like that. Neither with the keyword research does it work like that either. I think, as I just mentioned, G. Murray, I'm not really sure if this can be used with Weblify and SAM, because I think those two create the content already. Probably you could use it with SEO Catalyst. I would say Weblify and SAM are probably basically, I mean, Ricky's been working on Weblify for years. Okay, I worked on Keyworkz for years. They're very similar. They're just like different flavors of kind of the same thing. Okay, and SAM, from what I understand about SAM, it's very similar, except that it was made by the guy that did SE Nuke, and so we know that it's more about backlinks, you know, creating backlinks. Now, if you can create your own content in either one of those systems, then yes, you can get the content from ICC Express, and you can do that by creating the content, as I'll show you here. So if I wanted to just create some content really quickly like this, and when I would spend some more time, you know, building the content, I can maximize the program and really build this article. When I'm done, I can save it here in ICC Express, but I can go to source and then I click select all, and then I right click and select copy, and now I can go to my other program, whether it's going to be SEO Catalyst, SE Nuke, or any kind of other program that accepts content, and you can just paste that same content right from this window into that program. So you can use this program, ICC Express, to design your content, and then you can easily transfer that content over to SEO Catalyst and post it across your blog network or whatever you want to do. That's just one way that you can use it. We also have that lesson for you, point PD5. We have that lesson for you in this right here where it says use ICCX with Blogger. It's the same lesson that I just went over in case you want to review that. And G. Murdy says Weblify works good, but limited by the keywords that are generated. A little bit difficult. Yeah, I really haven't spent a lot of time with Weblify, and I spent about enough time to kind of figure out what it is, what it does, and I admire that, Ricky, for building that. For me, it's a little bit less control that I like. I like to have control over my web properties because I'm an artist. I don't really like to put out a lot of crap. I'm not saying that puts out crap either, but the thing is, if you're going to do auto-generated, stolen, spun content, you know what I'm saying? It's it's just like, yeah, it's that's called auto blogging, Demon, so it's kind of outside my realm of what I do. So if that's what you do, it's really not my bag, you know what I'm saying? Plus, you can really get your ass in trouble from doing that, and you can go and spend a lot of money, a lot of time setting up these robots, and a year later you still have nothing to show for it because Google's not that dumb anymore, Yes, John Peavy, great question. He says, is there any way you can take a blog from scratch and implement ICC Express, Keyworkz, and show us the process of building it from scratch? That's a wonderful question, comment, and I've actually already done that for you. And I'd be happy to do it again as many times as you want, but if you'd like to get a quick review, you should go to the Keyworkz website and watch the webinar that's on the website there. It's like the first Keyworkz webinar, and I went over the whole thing and I built a website from the ground up, and you can see that. In fact, I think it was this one right here that I showed you. This one right here. I think that was that one. I'm not sure. But I'm happy to do it again anytime. I have to prepare the blog that I can, well, maybe I can do it now. What the heck? I'll link to the webinar. Yeah, the hotels, that was from last week, and that was not about Keyworkz. It was just about siloing, which was a good webinar. Let me see if I can do something crazy here. Let me find a good silo. And click and see that one. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to basically wipe this one out and show you how easy it is to just make a new website really fast. I think you'll like this. Hopefully, yeah, we're already 5 minutes over, but I think I can do this in about 5 minutes, so I don't think it should be a big deal. First thing I'm going to do is, I think I'll change the theme. I believe this website is like hacked. I have to get in there and fix the code, but we'll struggle along. These webinars are for the public at large, Dan, and mainly for ICC software owners. I mean, I don't know who else will be interested, but the ones that I have on the every other Monday are actually not even about software. They're just about how to make blogs and stuff, basically what everybody wants to learn. And Nadiri, the $27 for Keyworkz is not a monthly price. It's a one-off for Keyworkz Basic. So let me just see if I can try this magazine and see if that's going to work real quick. I don't want to keep you much longer, but I'm just going to try and do this for you, sort of see if I can just blow you away a little bit before we call it a day. Not this one, it's this one. Okay, so I just changed the theme on this, and so I'm going to go ahead and reinitialize. So the first thing I'm going to do is reinitialize. See, I'm targeting that. Be very careful when you do this because it really does remove everything on the blog. But this is a test blog, so I don't care. Okay, so I am going to reinitialize everything. And you'll notice that where I had menus and categories here is now all blank. So if I go back to the blog and redo it, now it just says nothing found. And in honor of our dearly departed Mr. Spock this week, I'll do this little hierarchy about Star Trek that I was working on before. So let me just quickly change this to Star Trek instead of German Shepherds. Yeah, the recordings are all available to you, Dan. And all you have to do, Dan, is subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, that's the best way to make sure you're going to get all of them. Okay, we'll just change that real quick. And so we're no longer about German Shepherds, now we're about Star Trek. Okay, so now I've already been working on this. I'm not sure if I've got content. Doesn't look like I've done any content in here, so let me just throw a little bit of content. And I'm not going to take any time to add value. See, it says write something here. You know, normally I would really mark that up, but and I would get a product and stuff, but I just want to go fast, get a few things stored in here so we can get the party going and then call it a night. Again, by hitting the blue T, creates a fully templated post that you should mark up just a little bit, add your comments, add a product, and then you would go through, just add something to every post. And let's see too much about Star Trek in the images section. That's Google. So I would go to Wiki Commons. Oh, series online. I want to just say Star Trek. So oh, that's bizarre. Oh, that's nice. Not exactly what I was looking for. Not where that came from. Well, Series Online seems to bring up women searching for breast cancer, so that's pretty bizarre. Let's try Series Online. I don't like that keyword. Anyway, let's get rid of that. Delete. Okay, that keyword was no good. Anyway, so yeah, TV series online, that would have been the right one. Let's see if we get movie web, what we get from YouTube. Charlotte's Web full movie, that's good enough for me. Okay, just for now. Star Trek, who knows what that is? Oh, that's already got content from before. And we should just put one content from new Star Trek trailer, and that'll be it. Then I'll just do this and we'll call it a night. New Star Trek trailer. Star Trek 216 official trailer. That's the one I want. Now remember, I would take some time to, put a little better content here, but that's what we got. And as soon as you close it, it's in there. You can open it again, and it's still there. See? Now you would do this to all these, and I'm going to just go ahead now and execute as is. Now, assuming that XML RPC is operating within normal parameters, then we should have basically a new website. And I may have to go and do a little surgery on that menu because if it didn't get put into the main slot. Okay, it didn't get put in the main slot. So what I will do is go back here to Appearance, Menus. This happens every now and then if you mess around too much. You notice I have the menu here. It's all good. The only problem is it's not in the primary menu slot yet. And normally it would have done that if it's a brand new blog. So I'll just go ahead and save the menu in the primary slot. And now when we go back here and refresh the front page, there's no menu. Where is that menu? So I'm the wrong one. I'm not sure what happened here. I should put it on all. Let's see what we have. It's only that one, so let's save it. So according to the blog now, I've got the theme locations. I've got this on both locations, so it should show up. Yeah, here we go. Well, now you can see the menus. Okay, and if we go to click on any one of these items, we'll see our content is already there. And you just saw me pull up that content. And that's what happens when you do it really, really super fast and you don't really spend much time on it, but it's still quite easy to put together a website based on keywords that you locate for your particular reason, and then you arrange them in the hierarchy, you add your content, and then you execute to your blog. Again, I'm getting a few more questions about buying this product for those that don't have it. Right now, really, we just have, I think we have I know that the developer edition is $97, and the super low price for the single version we have is $27. And those are not monthly, those are one time. I don't know about the middle version, if there even is one at this point. And the question is, if you get the single version and you want to upgrade, I'll make an arrangement for you. You have to reach out and ask me, but I'll make an arrangement for you to do that. Okay? And I wasn't really planning to be selling this tonight, but when you have a good software, that's what happens. People ask, how can I get a hold of it? So it does work so closely with ICC Express, right? That's the thing about it. The two of them work together, because once you generate that website, and then you can access it from ICC Express. And even though I had German Shepherd keywords, what I didn't do here is import the keywords into profile, but that's what you would do, is you import those keywords into profile, and then they're going to be in ICC Express, and they're going to be connected to that. Yeah, you can use the support email to reach out, and if you need that, again, I'll put it in the chat. There you go. Mac Chris DDS, congratulations. I'm not exactly sure which was that you were referring to. But anyway, I think we're coming to the end of the session here. Yeah, definitely. Oddly, I want to get you some silo examples, and there's some training in there. So I'm actually building a whole new website for the members, which is going to be really laid out perfectly for you to learn all this stuff and have a core training. So I realize it's a little bit scattered in the website we have now. So for all the members, you can look forward to an amazing new website coming soon. Okay, G. Murdy, yeah, go ahead, send me your queries in the support, and I'd be happy to take care of you, and we'll take care of everything. Okay? And that's it. Are there any more questions for today before we call it a day? Hey, John, it's really my pleasure. That is so great, Demon. I'm so glad. Everybody that got on board with our monthly membership, you made a really good decision, because I just got finished raising everything up to $97 a month. So congrats on that good decision. My YouTube channel. Okay, here it is. I'm pretty sure this is it. Yay, Demon. Okay, so there's my YouTube channel. You should have that now, and you can follow that. For all these webinars, I'm pretty much putting all the weekly webinars on the YouTube channel, so you should subscribe to the YouTube channel. And Dale, I just put it in there for you. Okay, I will also mail out, or you can, all of these GoToWebinar things should have the link to the replay page as well that you get. Okay, so any other questions before we call it a night? Not seeing any, so I think we might have taken care of everything there today. Hey, it was really good, and so I just feel like I'm just sort of warming up, but we keep doing this every week, and we'll just continue to get a lot more great info out to everyone and really solidifying all this stuff. So thanks again for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to the next time. And you all do know how to reach me now, so please feel free to just reach out anytime. Okay, so this is Hugh out, and I will see you on the next one. Good night.